And now, speaking of resurrection and renaissance, we also have one of one of the loving leaders of UP High School Cebu. She is, we can say she's a former chancellor, but she's also one of the loving supporters of UP High School Cebu. The first chancellor of UP Cebu. Friends, please help me welcome once again ang nagbabalik for her message, Chancellor Liza Corro.
I am honored to be invited to give a message this afternoon to your Tree of Hope lighting as your ex-chancellor. To all of the faculty and staff, retirees, students and alumni who are here with us today, greetings of a blessed Christmas and a prosperous New Year, which is hopefully COVID-free already, if possible. The theme for this afternoon's event is Pasko sa Paglaum, ug Pasalamat. It is very appropriate because despite the pandemic and the havoc it had wreaked, I know you and we never lost hope. As it is said, for as long as there are teachers who tirelessly and selflessly continue to impart their knowledge, there is hope. Hangtod adunay kinaadman, dili mawala ang atong mga paglaom. The pandemic is just one of the more recent challenges UP Cebu High School has encountered. We are all suffering in this together with the whole world. UP Cebu High School Department, I would say, is one of the challenge-riddled units of UP Cebu. But you had been tested several times before, but as always, you were able to weather all this. In my own recollection, I can cite the democratization of entrance to UP Cebu High School as one of the first few challenges thrown in to UP Cebu High. Not only tuition fees cannot be collected, but a specific low-income bracket requirement had to be implemented for admission. But you were able to turn this around. How? With your rigorous entrance process. You are able to admit only the best and the brightest, who are able to achieve an average of 100% admission in UPCAT to different UP units, or with the highest passing average compared to the other 3 UP high schools in the UP system. This had always been one of my proudest moments as your former chancellor. This is a fact which the other UPCUs and UP system officials are wanting to emulate on how UP Cebu High School is able to do it. And look where our high school graduates are. You have a roster of well-known and successful alumni. Secondly, there was the threat to the existence of UP Cebu High School with its planned abolition. After all, its alumni and the rest of its high school constituents rallied behind the UP Cebu High, the plan to abolish fizzled out. Again, UP Cebu High School and the rest of UP Cebu administrators are not ones to buckle down under the pressure. But going beyond this, plans and proposals are now underway for the offering of a ladderized program, from an undergrad program to a master's in education, which when matched with the high school program, can make the high school and master's in education program truly sustainable. And likewise, this will optimize the faculty resources of UP Cebu. Lastly is the opposition to the construction of the new UP Cebu High building. The more challenging resistance here did not come from the informal settlers, but from people, specifically politicians, and those non-urban and non-poor leaders who are commercializing and taking advantage of the poverty and the lack of shelter of these informal settlers in order to suit these politicians' and businessmen's own personal and political interests. Actually, this is one of the biggest frustrations and regret I had in managing UP Cebu, my failure to complete the construction of the UP Cebu new high school building, even though how much effort we had poured in. These politicians know how much UP Cebu High School had helped out the community. But despite this, they refused to assist in the construction of the new building, which was long overdue and much needed by both students and faculty of UP Cebu High. It was not like we were asking for money from them. All we wanted was the cooperation from the City Hall for us to be able to finish its construction. But what happened was, they were even the first ones to call for the suspension of the construction. These politicians were actually the number one hindrance to the realization of your high school building. As I know, you are always able to reverse and make the most and the best out of an unfavorable situation to your advantage. I hope, especially in these coming elections, you can make your voices heard by these politicians who never gave value to you and your needs. After having narrated all your challenges and how you were able to turn them around to your advantage, let me now enumerate what we need to be thankful for, which is conspicuous here at UP Cebu High. Let me start off with our dedicated and selfless faculty members of UP Cebu High School. Their mettle was tested before and then now during the pandemic, and all our students know how much they sacrificed just so to continue with the quality learning of our students, even at the height of the onslaught of COVID-19. Daghang salamat sa among mga magtutudlo nga walay puas sa inyong pagsakripisyo para sa atong mga estudyante. Another thing we should be thankful for are our smart and maabilidad high school students. If there are teachers who are innovative enough to withstand the pandemic and still continue with their teaching, we also had our students who continued with their studies as if there was no threat of COVID to contend with. And not only did they persevere, they finished their year with flying colors. And lastly, we should all be thankful to UP Cebu High School's very generous alumni who never tire in sharing their blessings and in paying forward for the quality education they were able to benefit from UP Cebu High School. The gratitude wall of UP Cebu, if you will go and see it, there are several groups making donations to UP Cebu, though not necessarily with the highest amount. They come from the UP Cebu High School group. I hope the high school alumni will never tire in doing this and will even continue to encourage the rest of the UP Cebu High School alumni in donating and sharing their blessings to their alma mater. I hope you will all be beacons of hope to the marginalized as what UP Cebu High School had always stood for. Daghang salamat ug maayong Pasko ug mabulahang bagong tuig sa atoang tanan.
Wow, thank you so much, Attorney Corro.